much.
Seattle
Lovely.
session.
Brilliant.
I hope you've had, hope you have good memories of playing Seattle.
I certainly do. Yeah, lots of times at Bumbershoot, which was great. It's a wonderful, wonderful festival. And lots of other times too. Gosh, how many times have I played Seattle in my life? Yeah, I don't know. Lots and lots and lots.
Okay. Well, if everyone's ready, I'll get going. I think we're ready.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know, I think one could read this book as a very talented man's quest for the perfect guitar, which is something that you wanted very, very early on. I think I read that you are 6 years old and asking for a real guitar for Christmas, not some plastic piece of junk.
Well, I got fobbed off for it with plastic pieces of junk for quite a while, at least 5 years. And then a guitar turned up in the house, which was lovely. My father brought home a guitar to repair. It's like a broken guitar, and he fixed it up, and I grabbed it, and no one else was allowed to play it from that point onwards. The perfect guitar, I think the perfect guitar sound rather than the perfect guitar. You know, I think there are many guitars that are very lovely and playable and give you a lot of joy. But I think it's all about tone. Guitars have to have the tone that you're looking for in your head to appeal to you in that way.
Your band Fairport Convention gets going at about the same time that everyone is fascinated by the San Francisco sound. Mm-hmm. Jefferson Airplane, Grateful Dead, Moby Grape. I'm doing this interview from Tacoma, which is the home of Jerry Miller, and I understand his guitar was one that, well, you fancied the sound of it, at least.
I thought he was a wonderful player. I mean, he still is a wonderful player, as far as I know. Yes, of all the San Francisco bands, I really liked Moby Grape the best of all. And Jerry Miller, you know, he played a big jazz guitar, which was unusual, I think, at the time. It wasn't really a rock and roll instrument, but he managed to get a great sound out of it. And when I started out, I had a similar jazz Gibson. And I don't know why I ended up with one of those, but anyway, perhaps Jerry and I were on the same quest.
Even the San Francisco sound pales in comparison to what was going on in London at the time. I think when you were playing clubs, you were playing clubs at the same time as Seattle's favorite son, Jimi Hendrix, who actually joined you on stage. What was Jimmy like?
Nice guy. Seemed a bit shy, you know. Very pleasant. I thought very handsome looking guy. Fairly humble in those. This is before legends, you know, before people became legends. He was just another guy at a club, you know, or backstage, you know, that you'd run into. And he got up with us a few times. He'd get up and play one of our guitars, basically the wrong way around. He'd turn it over, but it was strung the wrong way for him. But somehow he managed to play it kind of upside down and backwards. But I mean, he made a serious impression, obviously, on the London scene and on London guitar players at that time. You know, the Eric Claptons and the Jeff Becks had to kind of look at themselves and say, "Oh, what do we do now?"
One of the great joys of your book is that you get to revisit, the reader gets to revisit your catalog with you. Fairport Convention, now with Sandy Denny, releases 3 albums in 1969. And for those of us who always thought that Unhalf Bricking, for instance, had to be made in 1 week of sessions, that really wasn't the way the band recorded albums at the time.
Well, what we used to do was, if we had a day off, we'd say, well, let's go in and record that song, or we got 2 songs ready, let's go and put down 2 songs. So we were always recording, it seemed. It's like an endless process. Sometimes we'd record after shows. We'd drive back to London, you know, midnight, 1 in the morning, and then record all night. That just seemed to be the way it worked for us. And then when we had, you know, 10 songs, we say, well, that's an album. Let's release that one. But 69 was a very busy year in many ways, and I'm not sure how we did 3 albums. It's like a miracle. We were young. What can I say?
To write the book, of course, you had to revisit that horrible van accident that killed drummer Martin Lamble and your girlfriend Jenny Franklin. Had something like that happened today, you would hope that a record label would offer counseling to everybody in the band, but it wasn't like that back then, I guess.
think it was maybe post World War II mentality, where you might have been shell shocked from the war, but or PTSD'd from the war, but you just kind of got on with life. You stiff upper lip stuff. No one thought of counseling or therapy or anything like that. Really, that was never suggested to us. I mean, the idea was we just carry on and we'd get over the shock and we'd heal. I think the reality was it took us a long time to heal, and we never properly grieved. We never mourned for the departed, and I think probably that affected us for the next couple of years. It affected our decisions, I think, quite a lot as well.
One of those decisions was with this next album, Liege and Leaf, which really introduced a new genre, electrifying traditional British folk, and you would also write in that style. I feel like I have to skim ahead. So many great solo albums, honest albums with your then wife, Linda. I think you're somewhere around 40 albums now. You've got an EP coming out this month. Do you still love recording?
I do. This last year, plus 14, 16 months, has obviously been tough. Not being able to get into a real studio. I've been lucky to have some recording equipment at home, so I've been able to do some home stuff, and that's been a godsend, really, and a way to keep communicating with the fan base. Yes, I do love recording. I mean, I love recording. I love writing, and I love probably most of all performing live. I think that's my favorite thing, and hopefully we'll be getting back to that very soon.
If anyone watching this gets an opportunity to see Richard Thompson play live, you definitely should take it up. At Bumbershoot, the Seattle Times recently asked readers to remember their favorite Bumbershoot moments. And one wrote about how the crowd kept singing the chorus to Tear-Stained Letter after you had left the stage, minutes afterwards. I don't know if you recall that.
Well, perhaps I have a hit on my hands without realizing it. That's great. I'm probably unaware. It's happened at other places too, which is very gratifying for me. I mean, that's great to have a chorus that people actually sing. That's one of the reasons you have a chorus. Is it should be something that people can join in with. So I think that's wonderful, and it takes the remarkably astute and sophisticated people of Seattle, of course, to be able to do that.
Right. Well, I will say a year later, on the very same day that James Brown was released from prison and told reporters, "I feel good," I saw you that night at Green Streets. You dedicated I feel so good. I may have missed, let me try that again. A year later, on the very same day that James Brown was released from prison and told reporters, "I feel good," that night at Green Streets, I was there when you dedicated I Feel So Good to James Brown. I suppose the Facebook performances that you've done, live Facebook performances, have helped a little bit.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. Yeah, it really does help. It helps me to feel that there's people out there still. I mean, it's not the same. I mean, instead of getting applause, you get a kind of a chat column, saying nice set or something, or like that song. So it's a little removed. It's like I don't know. It's like eating with a knife and fork that are 6 feet long or something. So it's not quite the same, but it has been a nice thing to be able to do in this last year.
And how does the search go for the perfect guitar sound? Have you found it?
I found it and then lost it again a few times. I don't know. Equipment is such a thing for guitar players. I mean, it's endless. But you're always looking for that great stomp box. To get that perfect overdrive. I don't know. I mean, I think I find it, and then I think I haven't found it, and then something breaks and you can't replace it. It's just endless. Tweaks.
Richard Thompson, the memoir is Beeswing.
That's it.
Losing My Way and Finding My Voice. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was great. So much fun to listen to. Boy, I hope Bumbershoot makes it. I'm not sure. We'll get that back.
Yeah. It really is
I mean, perhaps next year, maybe they're looking at next year, or they don't know.
I don't think they know. I think it's really struggling. It's on the same weekend that Dave Matthews is performing, you know,
At the
60
Gorge.
miles outside of town at the Gorge.
Well, he should
Yeah.
know better, shouldn't he? That's
Should
terrible.
know better, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he should be run out of town on a rail.
We did have it first, but thank you so much.
Hey,
Yes,
thanks
thank
a lot,
you so
guys.
much.
Thank you. Sorry for the delayed start. My
No
apologies.
worries.
All good.
All right, we got there in the
Appreciate
end.
it.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
God bless. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Saint.
All right. Thank you, Susie.